Hello, everyone. Welcome to Straight Talk on Social Media. This is Ian Desher, Director of Nonprofit Marketing from Pivot. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2015 and the first Straight Talk on Social Media of the year. Let's go ahead and jump into the news from the last few weeks. First of all, a recent study by a company called Datalicious showed that Facebook ads actually may be more effective and sort of responsible for more sales than has been thought. This was sort of tracking people's movement based on the number of impressions they'd seen and things like that, and whether they then went on to buy. And what was found was that, in fact, Facebook ads and other display ads, but Facebook ads in particular, are much higher, have a much higher sort of lead to sales than was thought before. And so, what this means, what some of the data from the article said was that just seeing the sheer number of impressions, the sheer number of times a person saw an ad really did start to influence and increase the likelihood of them purchasing. And so Facebook ads, of course, are serving up ads all the time, and we're seeing them, here and there. And so, the point it's making is that just that repetition and those ads being in front of us all the time is in fact driving sales more than was thought before. So good news for Facebook. The article I read about this study, said that the study was sponsored by Facebook, so you always have to be a little bit nervous about that. However, they didn't get to sort of determine what process was used for the analysis or anything like that. So, always makes you a little nervous when a study that was paid for by Facebook comes out, in favor of Facebook ads. However, the article at least was saying that they thought this was a pretty legitimate ad because Datalicious was using its own methods and its own criteria to determine whether or not Facebook ads were successful. Facebook is starting to enhance some of its video offerings. This is especially true for company pages. So you can sort of see an example here of an ABC News page and sort of the enhancement of video that Facebook is moving toward, where it's really moving toward what looks like. I mean, if you didn't have the header part of this page, if you didn't have anything sort of above this line, you might almost think you were looking at YouTube. Just about, right? It looks like a channel on YouTube where you're seeing a featured video and then you're seeing all these playlists and other videos that are available. And so Facebook is really trying to move away from its just sort of having videos within photo albums and things like that into something where brands and companies, personalities, whoever it is who are running pages can really turn their video into a central part of their Facebook page, where people can, check them out more as a channel. This is sort of more emphasizing the importance of video that we're seeing more and more on social media, how it's just becoming something that more and more companies are using, more and more people who use social media are looking for video content, and so video is becoming more and more important. So of course, Facebook is taking steps in that direction. Some users, Facebook did its year in review again this year, which you do have to have sort of a mixed feelings about. It's wonderful if you've had a great year in review. If 2014 was good for you, then Facebook has this algorithm where it's going to take some of your pictures and your videos and things like that, and look at the things that got the most likes, the most comments, that sort of thing, and it's going to put them into this little video of your year. And some people were really offended by that because some people obviously have not had a wonderful year. People who had really tragic events happen, then see this sort of popping up and looking celebratory. So this picture here, it's a very sad story. It was an article from Slate where somebody was saying this was his daughter who died of cancer in the middle of 2014, right? And this is a picture that he had posted of her, and here her picture was sort of being, put around by these, clip art partiers and things like that. And so it's interesting, Facebook is trying to sort of make you feel more at home within Facebook, and trying to sort of be this sort of fun social network, and yet its algorithms, it can't deal with its 1.5 billion users individually, and so its algorithms are going to misfire at some point, right? I'm certain that this photo probably got tons of comments on it when whatever he was posting about his daughter, and yet Facebook, you can't just take that as, oh, this must have been a good event. Uh, so just interesting, sort of it's one of the, I think, pitfalls of social media, particularly as social media companies try to engage with their users more, but do so in an automated way. So my focus topic this time around is Straight Talk on what to expect in 2015. This is a webinar at the beginning of the year. Now, I think for 3 or 4 years, I've done this webinar where I try to look ahead at what we might expect to see coming down the line in 2015, trends that we need to be prepared for, changes that are coming that or may be coming that will be important. And so we'll talk about 12 of these today. And some of these are just out of my own mind. That's not to imply that I'm out of my mind, but you know what I mean. They've come from my own mind. And some of them are from articles I've read about people, from people who are predicting what's to come. And so where it's come from an article, I have the author's name or the person who made the prediction right below the headline on the slide, just so I've borrowed those. So first of all, I think we're really all going to have to start paying more attention to Snapchat. Snapchat and Instagram sort of are the two social media networks that are most popular among young people. And that trend does not seem to be slowing down. Snapchat is gaining sort of more and more momentum. If you don't know what Snapchat is, and I have to admit, I have not played around with it. So my understanding of it is that you take a video, you can send it to people or put it out on your profile or whatever, and basically it has a lifespan. So the video is available, I think, for a certain number of seconds, or it can be viewed once or something to that effect, and then it disappears forever from your page. So naturally, it's used for many inappropriate things, things that maybe you wouldn't want your kids sending out. However, it is very, very popular, and so it's going to be something that businesses are, I think, more and more going to have to pay attention to if they want to get the attention of young people on social media. There are companies that have done Snapchat promotions or campaigns. Some of them pretty successful. And as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing my webinar topic for next month, February, was TBD as of like 15 seconds ago. As I thought about this, and I think what we'll do is we'll talk about Snapchat next time, and look at some campaigns that have happened on Snapchat, and just how it works and all of that. So anyway, I do think it's going to continue to rise in importance, and we will all have to be sort of thinking about how can we engage users through Snapchat. Number two, this is my first one from somebody else, a commentator named Julia McCoy, basically said that the trend is that all content is going to become shorter and shorter and shorter. So Twitter maybe had it right, with their 140 character limit, but her point is that people, to keep up with people's sort of shortening attention spans and things like that, the content you see, whether it is a video, the length of a video, or what's written in a status update, things like that, the content's all going to have to start being shorter. We're going to all start learning how to get our message across really quickly. I know that when Pivot is working with companies on creating videos, sort of this explainer video type model, we're really looking in that sweet spot of 1 or 2 minutes. If you go on for 5 minutes, 8 minutes, you're going to lose people unless there's something just that compelling about your video. So Julia McCoy sort of noticing this trend that things are going to start becoming shorter because that's the people's preference in terms of the content that they want to see on social media. So a third trend is that it's looking very likely that both Facebook and Twitter are going to be introducing some kind of buy button. Facebook was testing it out for a while. Twitter was testing it out. This, will of course be good news for companies. Where not only can you talk about your products on social media and show them and even talk about their prices, but now people can actually click through to immediately buy those items. And so this is a step that Facebook and Twitter will likely make in the direction of companies, giving them another reason to be engaged on Facebook and Twitter. And you can make the argument that it also adds a level of convenience for people searching on Facebook, right? If I see a product advertised on Facebook and I think to myself, oh my goodness, I absolutely have to have that. It's one less step than clicking over to the website and clicking on buy. I can just click buy directly from Facebook and go over there. So it'll be interesting to see when these get rolled out, and hopefully it's fairly soon, and we'll keep you updated on that. Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn all want your video. So I talked a minute ago during the news segment about how Facebook was starting to revamp its video offerings for company pages. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, these services now all will host your videos. So Facebook has done this for a long time. Twitter's done it for a long time. LinkedIn is doing it. Where it's not like you are linking to a video that is hosted on YouTube, but now these companies themselves want to host your videos. That's going to be true more and more. And the things that I was reading were saying not only do they are they serving as video hubs of their own, but really they will probably start sort of favoring in terms of the content that they show to within people's timelines or within people's Twitter feeds or whatever. They will start favoring videos that are hosted within their own site over videos that are hosted somewhere else, right? So if you upload a video to Facebook, that will be more likely to be seen by people than if you link to a video that is hosted on YouTube. So it's interesting where all these three companies are recognizing the importance of video and the prevalence of it, and are really making a bid to sort of be their own video hubs, as opposed to letting a YouTube or a Vimeo or something like that, hold that role. So it'll be interesting to see as that trend continues. One article I saw said, eventually what's going to happen is that we're all going to be uploading our videos to all of these services, right? So we'll upload the same video to Facebook, and we'll upload it to Twitter, and we'll upload it to LinkedIn, and we'll upload it to YouTube, just so each of those services will promote it in their own way. Number 5, Facebook will introduce a web-wide ad network. So this is already very much in the works. Facebook bought a company called Atlas, which is was a company that sort of works on these ad networks. And so this is something I think we're going to very likely will see this year, where Facebook will open up not only ads within their own site, but will say, do you want to have your ad shown on within our whole web-wide ad network? And so that the sort of sponsored story that you choose to run, or the sort of regular Facebook ad that you choose to run, will now be appearing on other sites. So I think that will be, again, I think that will be good news for us because of Facebook's targeting, because their reach no doubt will be extensive, and we'll keep, again, something else that we'll keep you updated on. This was an interesting one, I thought. Rebecca Radis saying that companies that tell interactive stories will really excel. So what she was saying, the overall point she was making was that no longer will companies be able to just sort of, push out their marketing messages through social media as though it is sort of a one-way conversation, or a megaphone, I think was the word that she used. Right? No longer are we going to just be able to put something out there and feel like that's enough to get people to engage with it. Instead, what we're going to have to do is start looking for ways to engage with our with our customers through social media and get them to start interacting with our posts, so that it becomes a true conversation, and less of a just sort of spitting out information to the world. So that is something. It's something we've been talking about for years, really, that social media is a conversation. But she is really forecasting, I think, the end of companies even really being able to just sort of push out that message, where that sort of thing is going to become very much more sort of a negative norm on social media. Number 7, the more time spent, the more benefit. So this is just and this may have been true, it may not be a totally new trend, but I do think it's going to continue to be true, or maybe even be more true as we move into 2015, that the companies who spend more time with their social media presence and focusing on it are the ones who are going to see more benefit. I think there is a sort of challenge before us for many of us who have been using social media for years, and I talked about this a little bit in my last webinar. The challenge of sort of social media fatigue, and getting just worn out by the idea of keeping your Facebook page up, or getting into Twitter, or thinking about Google Plus, or whatever it is. But I do think that the companies that really do invest the time in making sure that that across those different channels, your presence is really kept up to date, and you are being interactive and engaging. I think those are the companies that are really going to see a lot of benefit out of social media. So again, I would encourage you, to sort of keep on keeping on in this regard, because I do think that you'll see more benefit with social media if you can commit to putting time into it. Rachel Miller, another commentator, suggesting that transparency is going to be more important than ever. So she's suggesting that with sort of all the social media tools that are out there, the different ways that people can expect to interact with companies, that companies are no longer going to be able to sweep things under the carpet, or pretend that certain things didn't happen, or avoid, basically, they're not going to be able to avoid negative interactions. They're going to have to be transparent in their dealings, so that people can trust them more. Because social media, again, it's fascinating. I think what's happening with social media, where not only our personal lives and the information we choose to put out about our personal lives, but also sort of the personal lives of companies, if you will, is sort of being put on in the public sphere, and as a result, companies sort of have to deal with things that maybe they wouldn't have had to deal with in the past. I always think it's a great opportunity. It's hard. It's certainly hard, but when somebody makes a negative comment on your Facebook page, it's always a great opportunity, because that means you have the opportunity to publicly show that person, to publicly show before everybody else how you're going to handle that person's complaint, or their request, or whatever it is. So interesting that the Rachel Miller was saying that transparency is going to continue to sort of be an important thing in 2015. This one I thought was funny. I saw this is from Julia McCoy, again, was saying that she thought we were going to see the end of Google Plus in this year, and I thought to myself, wow, that is quite a statement to make. And then, of course, in another article by Lori Menneku, she said that she thought Google Plus was going to excel and, in fact, overtake Facebook in terms of the number of users. So again, I thought this was fascinating. Julia McCoy's point was that Google Plus, like all of Google's sort of social media efforts, there are different networks they've tried, like Orkut and Buzz and things like that. She thinks that Google Plus will sort of see its demise in a similar way, because there just are not enough people using it. Lori Menneku, on the other hand, thought that this was going to be finally the year when Google figured things out, and they pushed past Facebook in terms of the number of people using it, and therefore it was going to really sort of take over as a leader. I think the reality is probably somewhere in the middle for Google Plus. I don't think we're going to see the end of Google Plus because I do think it has crossed a hurdle that Google never really crossed with its other social networks. Orchid and Buzz and things like that. I think that Google Plus has crossed a threshold that where Google's not going to go back on it. I don't think they're going to give it up. However, to say that it's going to be take over Facebook or even get as many users as Facebook, I think that's probably stating the case a little too strongly. I don't think that we're going to see Google Plus have that kind of prominence anytime soon. Not until something happens to Facebook to sort of dethrone it. But until and even then, there's no guarantee because I think there are other networks that people might flock to first. Before Google Plus. So again, I think reality is somewhere in the middle here. It was interesting to see though the different sides of that coin and why people think it's either going to fall or fly. Number 10, creativity will be key. So this was Neil Patel talking about how basically doing business as usual on social media is no longer going to be enough. The companies who are able to show a lot of creativity and therefore have the most engaging and fun and interesting social media sites, they're going to be the ones that are having the best success on social media. I never mind seeing a nod to creativity. I thought this was an important point that he was making. I think it is, time to think more and more, have a creative brainstorming session with your coworkers about what fun, exciting thing could we do on social media? What campaign could we throw? What statuses could we put out there that people are going to really enjoy? Is there a quick video we could put together that we put on our social media page that's just going to be something really fun for people to see? He thinks that if you take that time to show the creative spark to your customers, that's where you're going to start seeing a lot of good engagement, a lot of people wanting to be part of what you're doing on social media, which will then of course reap other rewards for your business. Number 11, I think Instagram is going to start expanding its offerings for businesses. So I think that we're going to start potentially seeing ads within Instagram, company pages for Instagram. I think they may go and sort of, yes, they now have a desktop version of Instagram where you can actually go on your regular computer and go in Instagram and browse people's pages, but it's still very, pretty small at this point. It's relatively unexciting, a relatively uninteresting format, I would say, compared to what Instagram is, on a mobile phone. So I do think that we're going to see Instagram start to flourish more because it's becoming so popular. I think it's going to have to expand its tools not only for individuals but also for businesses, so that businesses can take advantage of that popularity, and Instagram can continue to make money. And number 12, mixing media will become a necessity. This was Mike Gingrich who suggested this, that this was going to become a trend in 2015. And what he was suggesting, the sort of example that he gave, was that you're writing a blog post, and then in one line of your blog post, you are referencing a YouTube video that you've created, and then in another sentence in your blog post, you are referencing your Pinterest pinboard you made about a certain topic, and then at a different point you're talking about a tweet that you put out or something like that. But basically, where you are mixing right there in what I just described: blog, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, right? Or you might see a Facebook status update that is pointing people to a blog, or pointing people or highlighting a Twitter feed or something like that. But basically, where you are trying to take your different social media channels and not have them sort of be silos, not have them be different areas that don't really touch each other, but really start overlaying them some and having them interact with each other more. He thought that was going to be needed so that not only Basically, so that you can have a cohesive overall strategy, right? So that people don't just realize you have a Facebook page, but don't ever hear anything about your Twitter feed, or vice versa, right? So that your followers know that you are expansive, so that your whole strategy then ends up being, you know, part of one whole thing. So that's why he was saying that he thought that was going to become necessary for all of us in 2015. So I thought these were some helpful trends. The ones that I read about, I was hopeful for. I think it will be a fun year in 2015 to see sort of what happens for us and what comes around the bend. You know, we'll be looking back in 11 months time. We'll be looking back and seeing, okay, well, did we you know, did these come true, or was this it, or what else, what were the other big stories from 2015? But I hope that it turns out to be a wonderful year for you, not just on social media, but everywhere in your life. And Thanks for joining me today. So the next webinar will be Friday, February 13th, Friday the 13th, 2 months in a row, February and March this year. And Focus Now says TBD, but like I said, I decided midway through this presentation, we'll be talking about Snapchat and showing hopefully some good campaigns that companies have done through Snapchat. So we'll do that February 13th.